Today, I'm going to take you through how to create an assessment on Schoology. If you're like me and you have the basic plan, the assessment tool is new. We used to use tests and quizzes. Well, in the basic plan, those are no longer available for us to create new. But we do have this assessment. So I'm going to take you through how to actually create an assessment in Schoology. The first thing you'll want to do is go to your resources. And in your resources, I highly suggest making a new folder that you are going to use to put all your new assessments in. Okay, now that you have your assessments, if you have previous tests or quizzes, I would recommend actually converting those into an assessment first. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a quiz that I made last year, and I'm going to go ahead and convert it to an assessment. So here's the quiz I'm going to take, heat transfer. And down on the right side, one of the options is convert to assessment. So that folder I just created, that's where I'm going to put it in. Now I have that assessment ready to go. And if I want to use it, I would just go to my courses. So I'm going to head to my course. So I come in here and I'm going to come to my quarter one folder. Now I will say converting it to an assessment does take a few minutes. So give yourself about 5 minutes. Convert to the assessment, walk away for 5 minutes, and then come back. Then I'm going to go to my unit quizzes. And here I'm going to add my materials. I'll import from resources. I'm going to head to my assessment. And here it is. Now let's look at how it looks slightly different. So in test and quizzes, all your settings are in one spot. For this one, you have to go ahead and click on it, and then to enable it or disable it or choose options, that's actually in actions here. And you're going to come to edit, and here is where you can actually enable it until a certain date, enable it from one date to another, one time to another. So that's where those options are going to be. I'm going to keep it disabled for right now, but this is also where you put the calendar, what date you want to have it, and your category and things. So I'm just going to keep it like that for now. Okay, the setup. For the setup, here is where you can give your instructions. You can give it a time limit here. You can have the questions randomly ordered, show possible points, yes or no. And here are some new things. Again, this is going to make it look more like a state test. Students can flag a question for review. They can actually eliminate choices. So if they know that it can't be A and C, they can actually eliminate those choices. And then they're only looking at 2 then. They can use a calculator, a ruler, a protractor. They can highlight text. They can use a notepad if you want them to, think about notes and maybe do some calculations and stuff. Then we have the settings. So again, similar to the test and quiz, you can have it where no, they cannot view their assessment. Yes, they can. And yes, they can with answers. And the number of attempts. In test and quizzes, it was unlimited. On an assessment, you have up to 20 only. So once you have what you want, you can hit save. I'll come back in here after I've made my assessments and modify it, because I do like my students to be able to flag. I like them to be able to highlight. I like them to be able to eliminate questions. And that's going to help them out on the test. Now for the questions. So we have the basic questions. Remember, I converted these from the other one. So my questions are here and they're all multiple choice. I never used the matching before, but I do like how the matching is done on the assessments because it's drag and drop. Same with ordering, it's drag and drop. So I kind of like those new features on this assessment. I do want to add a matching question. This is all going to be about conduction, convection, and radiation. And I want them to be able to match those symbols, pictures that represent that, to the actual words. When I add a question though, for the assessments, you could just come over here and add a question. Multiple choice, true, false, matching. However, If you add it here, then if you want to use it later, like in another quiz or test, so let's say you want to make a practice quiz first and then do a unit quiz, you're not going to be able to import it because it's not going to be from the item bank, okay? So the item bank for assessments is different than the item bank you had for tests and quizzes. So here's what I would recommend doing if you're going to add a question to your quiz. First, I would go get to resources. And I'm going to add a resource, and I'm going to add what's called an item bank. And this one here, I already have one for my matter, so this one would be thermal energy transfer. You could have all your quarter one assessments into one area. I like to do it by topic. So thermal energy transfer, and this will be an item bank. And notice I can create the questions here. So what I'm going to do is matching. And with the matching one, here I give the directions. Match the picture to the type of thermal energy transfer. Here's where I would put my picture. So notice a lot more things that you can do. So I can add my picture. I can drag and drop, or I can click on my image. So I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to go find it in my computer where I want it. And I can change the width. Make it smaller, and there that is. Then I'll come in and I'll make another one. Okay, so I have my pictures here. I'm not going to use this one here, so I'm going to get rid of it. Then over here, I want my possible answers. Again, I only have 3, so I'm getting rid of the extra one. Now to put your answers down, here is where you're going to put your answers. You're going to tell them which one should go where. So that's where my answers are going to be. And I want the exact match of this. This is what I want, and I'm going to hit save. So there it is, match the picture to the type of thermal energy transfer. Okay, so now it's in my assessment bank. And again, you can make all the ones that you want to do. Now I'm going to head back to my courses, and I'm going to open up that assessment again. And this time I'm going to add from the item bank. I'm going to find my item bank that I created. And I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to say add one item. That's going to add to the very bottom, and there it is, there. Okay, now if you have questions that might have more than one answer, I'm going to show you what you need to do. Okay, so I'm going to make another question, and this time I want it to be multiple choice answer, right? So to add another question, once you've left your question bank, you go back to your resources and you click on that item bank, and that takes you here, and you can make another question. So I want to make a multiple choice question, and this one's going to have more than one answer. So which type of thermal energy transfer is shown in this picture? I'm going to add a picture. Okay, so options. So now this actually has all 3 types of thermal energy transfer. You have the radiation from the fire, right? You have conduction from the pot to the liquid inside, and then inside the liquid it's boiling, so that you have convection. So you have all 3 types are actually the possible answers. If I want to allow partial credit, this is what you're going to need to do. First, you want to hit the exact match. Partial match means that some of the words, like if you have like long sentences, some of those words in the sentences is what it's picking up, is the words. It's not going to be a partial match by what they click. So to make it a partial match, here's what you need to do. First, all 3 of these correct. You had to hit multiple choice response to hit all 3. Okay, so all 3 of those correct, they'll get 100% on that. Now you want an alternate. If they chose these 2, right, I'm going to give them a 50%. You got some of it correct. You need to do that for all of them. So now I'm going to choose these two. Again, you're going to get a 50%. And then I'm going to have these two. So if they get 2 out of the 3 correct, I'll give them half credit for that. Now, what happens if they only get 1 out of them correct? I'm going to give them a 25%. And again, this is all your choice. So if there were 2 answers, you could get it 25. But notice how I have to go in for each possibility. So I'm telling the computer, I'm telling the assessment, if they choose just that, here's what I want to grade it as. Okay, so that's how it's a little different. You're giving them alternative answers. So if a student chooses only 1 of them, chooses 2 of them, chooses all 3, what could their possible score be? And I'm going to hit save there. Okay, so that one's ready to go, and I can now add that. Add from question bank. This is the one I want to add. Notice it's already told me I added that one. So that's kind of nice. It lets you know what you've already added to the question, to the test. And there's that one. Now that one, since there's 3 of them, I'm actually going to make that one worth 2 points. And that's how you change it. It automatically saves for you, which is kind of nice. So there's your information. That's how you're going to make your assessment. And this is what it's going to look like on the student's point of view. So you have this. You can put in your scaled score if you want to. I do standards-based grading. This is all basic information. So the highest I can get is a basic score on the standard scale, which is a C. And I'm going to hit Start New Attempt. Notice it only gives them 1 question at a time. If I allowed them to flag it, you would see the flag here. If I allowed them to highlight it, you would see the highlighters here. So the tools are over here for what I allow. They're going to answer the question and then hit next. And then the timer will be here. So again, you can see that it's very similar to what a state test might look like by giving them 1 question at a time and having them move through that single question at a time. If they want to go back, they need to flag their questions and it will take them back to the ones that they flagged. So this is why I kind of like the assessment tool a little bit better, and I'm actually converting my test and quizzes to the assessment tool for these reasons. So there's the assessment tool. When you're ready to grade it, you would come here, okay, and you can grade it by question or you can grade it by student. And then reporting, it's going to tell you what percent they got, the medium, the mode, and all that information will be in the reporting once it's all done. So that's how you do it. Again, grading, you come here, you can grade by question. You just click on once the test has been taken, the questions will pop up. If it's a multiple choice type, that's where it grades for you. It'll already show you what the student scored on it. If it's a short answer, it'll say needs to be graded, and you click on it and it takes you through 1 student at a time, showing you the question with their answer, and you can give them the appropriate score for that. So that's how you do assessments in Schoology.
Thank you for watching another Adventures in iSTEM and Beyond video. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for more Adventures in iSTEM and Beyond videos. For more ideas on how to incorporate science, technology, and skills for life into your classroom, go to adventuresinistem.com.